West Ham aren't actually doing too badly. 7th in the Premier League and still fighting for their lives in Europe, and things might seem like they're moving in the right direction. But with fan unrest, with David Moyes and a desire to play more exciting football means his time at the club is up, and instead I've been given the task of trying to get West Ham United to the top of Europe's elite. Now, to be fair, looking at the starting 11, it's actually not too bad. They've got some decent players in attacking positions, the likes of Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, James Ward-Prowse and Mohamed Kudus, but with some ageing stars up front whose contracts are starting to come to an end at the end of the season, and a lack of depth, especially in wide attacking areas. There's still going to be a lot of work to do if you want to take this team to the next level. Now, the board have got some incredibly high objectives this season. They want me to finish in another Europa League spot, but they want me to win the FA Cup, and they want me to win the Europa League at my first time of asking. But more importantly, they want to see this team playing some good football. Now, despite the wide array of attacking talent that they have at their disposal, David Moyes often has this team playing a more defence-minded system, relying on rapid counter-attacks to try and expose the opposition. But with me wanting to get a little bit more control in my field and employ a bit more of a possession-based style, I'm going to switch to this tried and trusted Pep Guardiola tiki-taka style. Now, some might say that might be a bit of a tough ask for some of these players to carry out, but with £61 million left remaining in the budget, I'm hopeful that we can make some improvements. Now, speaking of improvements, looking at this team, straight away you might think that perhaps defensively, this might be the area of the team that I am the weakest. And whilst in central defence we don't exactly have any standout players, we do have an array of pretty above average players that I think can do a job for me, at least in my first season. But it's in the wide areas of my defence where I have a little bit more concerns. The 78 rated 28-year-old Emerson, I think, will be good enough to do a job for me on that side of the defence in the first season. And whilst I was originally thinking about trying to sell Aaron Creswell, with him being 33 years of age, he only has 12 months left on his contract, and with his age and with his overall rating only being 76, I don't really think I'm going to get a lot of money for the Englishman. However, in more pressing matters on the other side of my defence, with my best right back Vladimir Cloufal's contract ending in just 12 months, and with Newcastle United coming in with a £10.5 million offer for the Czech, it means that he is going to be the first man to depart the club this summer transfer window, to head over to the other side of the country to get a taste of Champions League football for the first time in his career. Outgoing number one done to Newcastle for 10.5 mil, and with his departure leaving me with just one remaining right back, and that right back being a 23-year-old 74 rated Ben Johnson, whose contract also expires in just 11 months. It means it's finally time for me to loosen the purse strings and try and see if I can bring in my very first signing of the summer. And I'm going to go for a man who's been heavily recommended to me on several other career modes I've played. A man who, since joining Coventry City, has started to make a name for himself in the Championship and in the youth ranks of the Netherlands national team. He's a man whom I'm sure will be absolutely desperate to make the next step up in his career and finally play Premier League football for the first time. That is right. I have decided to bring in Milan van Ewijk as my very first signing from Coventry City for £11.6 million. Now, granted, he's only 75 rated, so he's not exactly going to come in and pull up any trees, but he does have that something special, and with him being only 22 years of age, and with him having absolutely electric pace and great physical stats right across the board, I think he's got the potential to grow into a world-class right-back talent. And so long as I can put him on a training and development plan that will get the absolute best out of the young man, I am confident he can have a terrific career at West Ham United. Now, in central midfield, I've got one of the highest rated players in the entire squad. Edson Alvarez, I'm sure, since joining in the summer, will be eager to put in a fabulous performance across the course of the season in his debut season in a West Ham shirt. And with his midfield partner, Thomas Souček, forming a formidable partnership with Declan Rice over the last few years, he will be eager to hold on to that central midfield position as well. And with me having the likes of Calvin Phillips on loan from Manchester City, and James Ward-Prowse, the set-piece master who can play in central defensive, central midfield and central attacking midfield, I think it's a position that I'm pretty well stocked in. However, speaking of the more attacking areas, as you can see, one of my best attacking players, Lucas Paqueta, has been shunted out to the left-hand side of my midfield because I do not have anyone, aside from Maxence Cornet, who can play out there. Now, with his position most suited to playing in behind the striker, I don't really want to lose that skill and technical ability and shunt him out to the left-hand side. However, with Maxwell Cornet only being a 76 rated, and with him being the only senior left midfielder at the club, once again, I think that is going to be the next position on my shortlist. Now, as you can see, I have several different options listed in my shortlist, and all of them seem to have the same theme in common, and that is that they are all young players, live wire players who potentially could grow into fantastic talents on the left-hand side of midfield. And with me hoping to continue my principle of looking to the Championship for more untapped talent, and with me not wanting to completely blow the budget as I've still got a lot of areas of the team that I need to improve, I have decided to once again turn to more young talent coming through the ranks of the Dutch national team. It's a man who does have a little bit of experience playing in the Premier League, but someone who once again has heavily impressed in the Championship. That is right, it is Crescencio Somerville joining West Ham United Football Club from Leeds United for £16 million. He's another player whose rating doesn't immediately come in and send shockwaves through the West Ham fans, but with him only being 21 and being an incredibly exciting prospect, plus having absolutely electric pace and incredibly high attacking work rate. Once again, if I can get him on the right training and development plan, I am confident, just like his Dutch compatriot Milan van Ewijk, he can turn into a potential wonder kid at West Ham United. And with 2 new signings down, potentially it is time for me to turn my attention to a third. Now, as you can see, it looks like we've been set up with Jared Bowen leading the line for us, but it's very clear, based on his stature and his skill set, that his more natural position is to play on the right-hand side of midfield. And that only leaves me with 2 more veteran strikers, one of whom being the injury-plagued Danny Ings, who just hasn't quite hit the mark here since joining West Ham. And of course, Michail Antonio, an absolute club legend, but potentially not exactly someone who is going to be the future of the football club moving forward. Now, as you can see, I've got a lot of different potential options shortlisted, but once again, this is where I am going to turn to you guys for help. Let me know down in the comments below which, if any of these strikers, you would like me to see sign to play for West Ham United. Or alternatively, if you've got any other suggestions or any other players you'd like to see plying their trade in a West Ham United shirt this season, let me know what you think down below. However, with pre-season finally ready to get started, it is finally time for these players to show me and the fans watching both in the stadium and at home what they can do and whether or not they have what it takes to be the long-term future at West Ham United. But with James Ward-Prowse smashing a strike against the post inside the hour mark, he will be hoping for a little bit better fortune before the Premier League campaign begins. And with my defence being undone all too easily, perhaps it was a little bit naive of me not to try and bolster that area of the pitch in a little bit more. But with Mohamed Kudus absolutely lighting up the Premier League in real life, it looks like he is keen to keep on his fabulous form in this career mode, and I'm hopeful that bodes very well for the rest of our Premier League campaign. Now, obviously, I know I've decided to go for this more ticky-tacky controlled style, but in our efforts to keep possession, I often found it was quite difficult for me to get my more attacking players into the most advanced positions. And looking at our general tactical setup, it's not really hard to see why. In terms of our depth, we're not actually playing that high, so I am going to shift that one right up to the maximum limit that is suggested. Now, obviously, as it's a possession-based style, the build-up will be relatively slow, but we are not getting enough players in the box. That, of course, is one thing we are definitely going to have to change. Now, as you can see in real life, West Ham tend to have quite a physical midfield, with Thomas Soucek, of course, being an ever-present, forming a formidable partnership with Declan Rice over the last few years. But with one of the most technically gifted players in the entire squad, Lucas Paquetá, being forced out to the left-hand side of midfield with the arrival of another technically gifted player in James Ward-Prowse. Plus, with the board and the fans wanting me to play a more possession-based tiki-taka style, it kind of got me thinking, now that I have more attacking prowess to choose from, especially with the arrival of Somerville on the left-hand side of midfield, does Thomas Soucek still have as much importance at the heart of my midfield that perhaps he once did? And so, with our first Premier League game upon us away from home against Bournemouth, a team who too are looking to change their tactical style, I feel like this is going to be the perfect place to try and experiment at the start of this new era at West Ham United. And so I've made the bold call to give Somerville his first start in a West Ham shirt, return Paquetá to his rightful spot behind the striker, and move James Ward-Prowse into the centre of midfield and drop Soucek to the bench. Van Ewijk will also make his debut in my opening game as I look to put a marker down for those travelling fans. So here we go then, it is a new dawn at West Ham United. Gone are the days of more direct football. We're going to be playing a possession-based tiki-taka style. Let's see how it goes in our opening 45 minutes. Mavropanos to bring it out of defence and plays in Kudus on the right-hand side. Kudus looks to bend it round the corner and plays it into the overlapping Milan van Ewijk as he drives down this right-hand side, looking for an option in the box here. Finds an option at James Ward-Prowse, coming in deep. What a strike it was, but it was blocked off in the end. But that is a really good start to this game as Kudus has the chance to strike, but plays it against the goalkeeper. What an opening 10 minutes here into James Ward-Prowse. It's been a really good start here for this West Ham team as Jared Bowen now has the chance to get into the box. What a save again. Well, that's 3 big chances inside the opening 15 minutes here, knocking at the Bournemouth door, but we've been unable to break it down so far as Jared Bowen has a chance and it's headed away. Alvarez will get on the loose ball, doesn't manage to fire it into the back of the net, but Everson will pick up the loose ball. This time he plays it across, finds Kudus on the volley, and Mohamed Kudus gives West Ham United a much-deserved 1-0 lead here inside 17 minutes of what has been an absolutely electric start to our Premier League campaign. We'll look at the crowd go absolutely wild, and rightly so. We've peppered this Bournemouth goal. We've been relentless here right at the start of the game, and Kudus had the time to take it down on the volley. It was a lovely, lovely chest down right into his path, and what a fabulous volley that was. Deep into the bottom left-hand corner. The keeper had no chance. 1-0. But what a way to open up the scoring here inside the opening 20 minutes. A fabulous start to this game, and long may it continue. Somerville wins it again. It's been all West Ham. We're absolutely relentless so far. Jared Bowen into Kudos, the goal scorer. Looks, of course, back to the overlapping run of Van Eweg, who drives into the box, cuts it. I was looking for the cutback. Managed to kind of find it back to him, and Kudos tries to bundle his way through. My word, the Bournemouth defence at 6s and 7s, and they just about clear their lines. Adams, he's blocked off by Paquetá, who won it back high into Jared Bowen, switches it onto his right. Oh my word, he blazes it high and wide. He looks to the skies, he can't believe it. Let's check the replay out. I thought it was going to be 2-0. And Jared Bowen got it all wrong. Kurtzuma over the top into Somerville, nods it down into that man. Jared Bowen will be looking to make amends for his earlier miss as Kudos tries to play it into the path of Paquetá. Doesn't manage to reach him, but my word, what a start. And Kudos pressing high. Is he giving away a foul? Into Alvarez. Alvarez over to James Ward-Prowse, shifting that man into the centre of midfield, giving us a little bit more creativity. He's proving wonders at the moment as he tries to get on the loose ball, but in the end the goalkeeper just gets there ahead of him. Into Somerville, who's come narrow. Paquetá around the corner, gets blocked off by Cook, and now is this Bournemouth's first opportunity for a foray into my half here. They really are yet to get inside as Emerson blocks them off as soon as they do. My word, brilliant defending from West Ham, and a lovely little play from James Ward-Prowse. Jared Bowen now down the left-hand side into Somerville with his first opportunity in a West Ham shirt, and he takes it with aplomb. It's his first chance and his first goal, and what a way to start off your West Ham campaign. Well, it was the disguised through ball from James Ward-Prowse that cut the midfield in half, and then Jared Bowen laid it on a plate to Somerville, who was unmarked on the left-hand side, and he ghosted into the penalty area and proved why it was the right decision to put him in the starting 11 on his debut. A wonderful strike, 2-0. What an opening 45 minutes that was. The most electrifying 45 minutes, the most dominating 45 minutes I think I've ever seen on a career mode that I've done. The big question is, though, can we keep it up in the second half? James Ward-Prowse short into Somerville, who's come narrow, and Somerville finds a ball into Paquetá. Paquetá is going to try and look for the overlapping run of Awig down the right-hand side. Does manage to find him, cuts it back in for Kudos. Kudos is going to go look through the channel, finds Jared Bowen, cuts it back in, looking for the ball into Somerville, who took it on his chest, looked for the volley. Lovely build-up play, that tiki-taka style proving almost perfect. Kudos, one touch into Alvarez, round the corner into James Ward-Prowse. He's got options ahead of him, finds the option of Somerville. Somerville into the box, cuts it back. I was looking for the ball into Jared Bowen, just overran it, but yet again, it's another good opportunity. It's Aaron's now for Bournemouth. This is their first foray into our half, and Somerville with the challenge and wins it back. This is just unbelievable. James Ward-Prowse into the path of Jared Bowen. He's got the pace to get away. Has he got the finesse to finish off the post? That man cannot find the back of the net today, because Paquetá just gets caught a little bit in possession there by the Bournemouth press, and finally they manage to get the ball in my half, but then they go and give it away again. Our high press and just the narrowness of my midfield just proving too much for Bournemouth to penetrate now, as Kudos is going to try and see if he can find a ball into Van Eweg, who's going to try and see if he can get there ahead of the left back. No, he can't, but he is proving to be an inspired signing on his debut as well. James Ward-Prowse has it now into the left back. Emerson turns into Paquetá, who just gets caught out by Cook, and now Bournemouth can try and see if they can hit us on the counter-attack, but they get it all wrong. Defensively, we've been absolutely brilliant. Out to Emerson, just a matter of minutes, moments remaining on the clock here for us to seal what will be a fabulous 3 points. Mavropanis with a crunching challenge. Lucas Paquetá just gets blocked off the ball. Bournemouth try and bring it clear. Kurtzuma's in as the referee blows for full time. Well, what a start to my managerial career here at West Ham. From start to finish, we were absolutely relentless. We battered and peppered the Bournemouth goal, and we were unlucky for it only to end 2-0. That man will be delighted to get a goal on his debut as it finishes here at full time. Bournemouth 0, West Ham 2. Well, not only was I delighted for him to get on the score sheet for the first time in a West Ham shirt, but I was delighted with his performance overall. A 9.3 rating in his debut. Debuts do not get much better than that. And as for this man, Mohamed Kudus, lighting up the Premier League in real life, continuing that fine form in this career mode, and I hope that will continue as the career mode progresses. Yes, this man, Tomas Soucek, will be disappointed not to be able to get on, but it did prove an inspired decision to put this man, James Ward-Prowse, in the heart of my midfield. An 8 rating, and he'll be hoping that will not just be a one-off game that sees him play in a more deeper role. One man, though, who had a bit of a tougher time was this man, Jared Bowen, failing to find the net after having two wonderful opportunities. I said at the beginning he's more of a right winger, and he did look a little bit out of place up front. So it just goes to show, with £43 million still left to spend, I still think I need to bring in a big name striker to try and lead the line for me for the remainder of the season. Speaking of strikers though, as you can see, that man Mikel Antonio was subject of a bid for £6.7 million for Brighton and Hove Albion. However, as you can see, with him being a West Ham legend, it was easy for me to reject. Despite him only having 10 months left remaining on his contract, I just did not think it was right nor realistic to get rid of someone who will go down as an absolute legend at the football club. So let me know down below in the comments what you think. Should I let Mikel Antonio just see out his contract and try and improve him come the summer? Or should I look to maybe offer him a new contract and cement his legacy here at West Ham? Let me know down below what you think. However, looking a little bit closer to home, West Ham United have always been blessed with several wonder kids through their academy. And as you can see on this career mode, it is absolutely no different. Aside from one goalkeeper, we've got about 4 attacking players, all of whom who have the potential to grow and develop into absolute worldies. And for me, it is about just how I'm going to go about harnessing all this talent. Let me know down in the comments below what you think I should do with some of these players. Should I try and upgrade them to my senior squad, or should I try and get them out on loan to try and see if they can get some first team football in other teams? Let me know below once again what you think. But of course, with the board still putting a lot of pressure on me to try and bring in some of the best young talent across Europe, we are not going to be resting on our laurels there, and that is why I have decided to bring in 2 new top tier scouts, and of course why I've decided to set up a scouting network in England to try and see if I can find the best young attacking talent in the country. As for the other 2 though, once again, let me know down below what you think. What are the best places across Europe that you think I'm going to be able to find talent for West Ham United? And are there any countries at all that West Ham have a history of finding the best talent from? However, in other news, with the first win of the campaign putting us top of the table after 1 game played, it is time to turn our attention back to the football. But I've got a feeling this game is not going to be as easy as the last, in spite of us playing at the London Stadium for the first time this season. As you can see, we will be hosting the West London Giants, Chelsea, in our first big London derby of the season. Can we continue our fine form of the first game, or are Chelsea going to put a stop to that? Let's find out. And of course, after such a brilliant win, it is hard for me to make any changes, so it will be the same starting 11. Areola starts in goal, Van Ewig, Mavropanos, Zuma and Emerson at the back, James Ward-Prowse, Alvarez in midfield, Kudos, Paquetá, Somerville in behind, Jared Bowen up front. Fafana for Chelsea, being hunted down by Paquetá, but wriggles away from it, and Caicedo also wriggles away from a challenge in my midfield. Gallagher plays it back though, almost gives it away, but Lavia manages to get away from the challenge of Kudos, but this time I believe it was Paquetá who won it back really nicely, and now James Ward-Prowse turns it around the corner into that man Somerville, who's looking for the overlap, finds the overlap of Emerson, who's going to try and see if he can drive down the left-hand side. Doesn't have the pace to get away from Reece James though, but he does manage to get a bit fortunate with the bounce. Cuts it back into the path of the previous goal scorer Somerville, who went for a shot, but he got it a bit wrong, but in the end it fell to Kudos, and my word, he almost bundled it into the net. Chelsea all over the place at the back. Kurt Zuma short into Somerville, who's just picking up these nice pocket of spaces, coming a little bit central from that left-hand side. It's been a really, really good start to his West Ham career so far, as Emerson looks to drive down the left, finds James Ward-Prowse, who's going to line up a strike straight at the goalkeeper though. Good start for West Ham yet again. Into Caicedo. Caicedo now into Lavia. Chelsea really unable to carve out any decent opportunities so far. Defensively, we've been absolutely brilliant in the opening couple of games here in the Premier League campaign, as Chelsea all over the place at the back. It almost fell very nicely for Jared Bowen, but he was just a couple of inches away from getting a touch that would have released him from the defender. Into Conor Gallagher, again chased down. Paquetá wins it back. Alvarez now has it, plays it into the path of Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen, I was looking for the run of Kudos, just got the pass a little bit wrong. We just found a little bit wanting when it comes to our final ball in the final third so far in the game. And Awig now around the corner into Kudos, who too has come central, into Alvarez. Alvarez is going to look for Jared Bowen, who's managed to stay on side, look to try and cut it back, eventually gets bundled around, but still manages to keep hold of the ball, finds Paquetá, and again the Chelsea defence just about crowding us out, but I am confident that the goal is coming. Well, just like in real life, Chelsea are struggling as we begin the second half, but frustratingly for me, whilst we have had several forays into their half, we haven't really been able to carve out any clear-cut opportunities to take the lead, so it remains 0-0 somehow, but we've got to try and see if we can put a stop to that here in the second half, as Emerson puts it into Jared Bowen, who tries to line up a strike. He's just blocked off. Chelsea, though, living on the edge. Madueke now tries to get away from the former Chelsea man in Kurt Zuma. He comes across, really good defending from the Frenchman. James Ward-Prowse now into Alvarez. He's got a little bit of space now to try and pick his pass. Alvarez bursts forward, finds Jared Bowen. It's all getting a little bit congested here. Somerville, though, tries to dink it over into the path of Lucas Paquetá on the volley. Big save into Lavia. Nice ball into Nkunku. His first real chance to run at my defence, and look at the pace of the young man. Throws it into the box, looks for the back post of Reece James. Good volley, good save. How harsh would it have been of Chelsea to take the lead there as Manra just about manages to get the challenge in, but that is a warning sign here at the London Stadium. Somerville now round the corner into Emerson, who's got green grass to run into down this left-hand side. It just feels like this game is starting to open up here as both teams now are looking to try and see if they can take the lead. Somerville is going to try and play this one out to the right-hand side. Got the ball all wrong, and now Chelsea going to try and counter, but Alvarez wins it well, loses it in the middle though. It's pretty much been a story of the game so far. Neither of these two teams really able to find the cutting pass in the final third, and now Chelsea bringing it away yet again. Fafana to bring it out of defence into Nkunku. Lavia now has it for Chelsea. Well, they've seemed to have got their tails up here now that they've been able to carve out one opportunity. But Caicedo has it, looks out wide to Mudryk on the left-hand side. Manages to get into my box, looking for the cutback, finds the cutback into Caicedo. What a save from Areola. Well, these are big moments here with about 12 minutes remaining on the clock. We've got to make sure that we retain this clean sheet as Chelsea are knocking at the door now. Mudryk with a lovely little piece of skill round Somerville. Into Thiago Silva, lays it back to Fafana, the other centre-back. Fafana tries to play his ball through, but Emerson just about manages to win it and manages just to get it away. As James Ward-Prowse now can try and see if he can release Somerville down this left-hand side. The young man, has he got the pace and stamina to keep up here? He plays it inside, looking for the run of Jared Bowen, but Fafana reads it well and gets there first. But there's only a few minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this game for one of these two teams to try and see if they can break the deadlock. It's been a much more even affair here in the second half as Raheem Sterling now on as a substitute looks to try and see if he can be the man to spark some sort of creativity into this Chelsea attack, and he's done just that, and it falls to Caicedo, perhaps the one man on the pitch that Chelsea did not want it to fall to, evidenced by that finish. He wasted a golden opportunity for Chelsea to win the game as the referee blows for full time. Well, we had a couple of decent opportunities that we managed to carve out, but we just didn't have that killer instinct up front to finish them off. In the end here, nothing could separate these two teams at the London Stadium, as at full time it finishes West Ham 0, Chelsea 0. A goalless stalemate in our second game of the season means that we open up our campaign in second place, dropping just behind Arsenal, but it's been an unbeaten start in our first two games. For me though, the big question still is what I'm going to do about this starting position. Jared Bowen's been a great player for West Ham, but I certainly think he's more suited to playing out on that right-hand side of midfield. I don't think he's going to be the long-term option to lead the line for me. So with us still having £43 million left to spend before the summer transfer window slams shut, let me know down in the comments once again who you want to be seeing playing up front for West Ham United here in Season 1. As for today though, it's been an electric start to life at West Ham, but this is going to be the end of today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.